So Tesla just killed it with their Q1 earnings report. Making a profit in these insane times is just astounding. But then Elon of course went on a Twitter rampage, and thus kind of killed off the ensuing Tesla stock rally. And then Giga Berlin just continues to be a farce.
You guessed it, more delays. But what is all this talk about a Tesla Terafactory? Where will it be built? And regarding air taxis, a lot is happening as always. Whatfly revealed their interesting personal VTOL concept, and a Canadian consortium is actively pushing for legislation for air taxis in Canada. A lot happening as always, so stay tuned.
So Tesla released their Q1 earnings last week, and everyone was absolutely blown away by the sheer positive news. Against all odds, Tesla reported a net profit. Yes, that's right. In these dire economic circumstances, Tesla really made a profit, which, by the way, is the third quarterly profit in a row. They reported almost $6 billion in revenue and $16 million in net profit. The automotive gross margins grew to 25.5% in Q1 2020 from the 20.2% in Q1 2019. And the first quarter revenue is 32% higher than the $4.5 billion from the same period last year. So Tesla is just killing it, which of course sent the Tesla stock on an impressive rally. But then Elon went on a Twitter rampage. He went full berserk on Twitter and tweeted a lot of stuff. And one tweet in particular probably compelled many traders to hit the sell button. This one here, where Elon said that he thinks the Tesla stock is too high. We believe that Elon might have had a few tough days, and like the rest of us, he might have gone a bit mental in the lockdown.
Let's be completely honest here. How many of us can say that we are psychologically completely unaffected by the lockdown? With all the social distancing, fears of this ugly virus, economic uncertainty, and many other things that come with it. And after all, Elon is only human. Plus, he is basically carrying the whole weight of the world on his shoulders, like all the time. So naturally, this leads to some strong emotional reactions. And of course, he's really fed up with the whole situation. More so since the Fremont factory is basically shut down since the 25th of March. And this shutdown is now forced to continue. Even though, for example, Tesla Shanghai has reopened now already a long time ago after being shut down for a few weeks back in February. Now, with some precautionary measures such as wearing face masks, disinfection and keeping your distance, Giga Shanghai manages to run perfectly without any new corona cases there.
But the county where the Fremont factory is located doesn't allow the factory to reopen. So naturally, Elon was really angered when the shutdown was announced to last for the whole month of May. Tesla is losing 2 complete months of production here. So 1/6 of a year. Okay, then Elon went a bit over the top with his Free America Now tweets and so on. But hey, he's only a human being under extreme mental stress. In all honesty, we can sympathize with him. Even though we might not 100% agree with him on all topics, we can relate to him. We are pretty sure that any one of us would not be able to cope with the stress Elon is dealing with. This guy is a total machine, working over 100 hours per week and doing things that no one else is capable of. So we should give him a break and acknowledge that he also has faults. This makes Elon even more likable in our opinion. In any case, Elon's tweets sent the Tesla stock down a few percent. Nothing dramatic, we'd say, because from a chart technical perspective, the stock in the daily chart was pushing against the upper Bollinger Band anyways, and the stochastic RSI was overbought, so a dump was highly likely. But of course, idiotic news outlets have no freaking clue about chart analysis, so they used Elon's tweets to print out lots of clickbait headlines again.
Let's hope that the global situation will improve again a bit before everyone goes full berserk. But at least some interesting infos were also revealed about the future Cybertruck Gigafactory. namely that it won't really be only a Cybertruck and Model Y gigafactory as we thought before, but instead Elon said in the earnings call that the name Terafactory would be much more appropriate. So as we know, the word giga stands for 1 billion. Tera stands for 1,000 times more, so 1 trillion. This would mean that the Terafactory would produce 1,000 gigawatt hours of battery capacity per year, so 1 terawatt hour per year. This is about 30 times more than Giga Nevada. Yes, 30 times more. Now, as for where it will be built, he said that it will be either California or Texas. California would be really weird, we have to say, since Tesla would then have an extreme concentration of factories in the West.
We would certainly prefer Texas, be it only for logistical reasons, namely that Texas is centrally situated, so that Cybertrucks and Model Ys can be easily shipped to the entire US. Then strategically, Texas also makes more sense, since a Terafactory would mean a severe blow to the pickup truck market there, and also strike a fatal blow to the big oil industry there. Elon said more will be revealed on Tesla's Battery Day, which now would probably take place between the 17th and the 23rd of May. And there are more highly interesting details about the Terafactory. Apparently, the Tesla Semi will be produced in the very same factory. However, the Tesla Semi is now unfortunately delayed to 2021. It's sad, of course, but what can we do? We don't think this is an excuse, but currently, Tesla just simply doesn't possess the battery production capacity to build a lot of semi-trucks, because one Tesla Semi will have a huge battery of around 1 megawatt hours, so 10 times of the battery size of a Model S long range. And the future Terafactory will probably also produce the large Megapack batteries used in solar and wind parks. So yeah, the terawatt-hour capacity will certainly be needed. If that factory should also produce all the batteries needed for the Cybertruck, the Model Y, the Tesla Semi, and the battery storage, it will be absolutely insane. And sadly, we think that this factory might even be finished before Giga Berlin.
Giga Berlin is really turning into a farce, and we have to say we kind of feel really ashamed even talking about it. Because we are so sad to see our worst fears confirmed again, namely the German bureaucracy being unleashed. So last time we mentioned that sand delayed the factory because Tesla has to do a new grounding plan because of the Brandenburg sand. But now apparently water seems to be the problem. So apparently the Water Association for the area in which the future Gigafactory will be located warned that the factory would consume too much water, which is simply too much for the current capacity. So Tesla has now to change the plans for the factory so much that the whole approval process will have to start from the beginning again, which in turn means that the new plans will be approved earliest in October. Yes, earliest in October. Now, if we were in Tesla's stead, we would do the following. We'd retreat from Germany, but keep the land. Build the Gigafactory in another country in Europe, for example Poland, and then in the next years start the building process of Giga Berlin again as a second Europe factory for the Tesla Semi and maybe the Tesla Solar Roof or Tesla battery storage or whatever. Now that's what we would do. We often wonder if Elon was actually underestimating the German bureaucracy, or does he have some giant master plan which we just don't understand? Maybe he knew full well that a delay of at least half a year or maybe even 1 year would be extremely likely. We don't really know, but as it looks now, Giga Berlin will be finished earliest by the end of 2021, but we have to say more likely in early 2022. It sucks, but what can we do? We really hope that Elon knows what he's doing here. Yes, Germany might make sense strategically long term, but at what cost? Let's see how this will unfold.
But there are positive developments for air taxis. The Canadian Air Mobility Consortium plans to lay foundations for the air mobility across the country, including drone delivery and both cargo and passenger air taxis. The consortium has many partners across the government, academia, industry, and the investing community. They really want to push for air taxi-friendly legislation. Of course, this is now a hot topic because of the pandemic. And indeed, delivery of medical supplies by drones is now being pushed. Indra Robotics is now working with regulators to bring a drone-based distribution system to British Columbia, moving supplies and spare parts from a central hospital to the medical facilities in the nearby island communities. So the pandemic is now accelerating the adoption of drone delivery and driverless delivery robots. China has been leading the way in that regard until now. And we are glad that the West now also sees it as an opportunity to bring such amazing technologies to market faster. Long term, the company Helijet plans to establish electric VTOL routes to connect the city of Vancouver with the surrounding area, and as far down as Seattle.
Now on the topic of VTOLs, VTOL by the way standing for vertical takeoff and landing, the new startup company Wattfly has proposed a quite interesting VTOL personal drone design, which they call the Atlas. It is a one-person drone and would allow for a flight time of 60 minutes, which is quite long for such drones. Other drones, such as the Bell Nexus, the EHang 216 or the Volocopter, have flight times of about 20 minutes. Now sure, 20 minutes will probably be enough at a speed of say 150 or 200 kilometers per hour to cover most distances within cities, but more flight time is of course better. On their website they say that from 15 meters away the drone has a noise level of 87 dBA, which is comparable to a motorcycle. So yeah, not really silent, but then again, these things would land and take off from rooftops, so they would never be nearer than 100 meters to the street level. Therefore, from this distance, they would not be louder than regular rush hour traffic, which we are kind of used to these days. And of course, it will be fully automated. Looks certainly like an interesting concept, but they first must build a working prototype, because this here are all renderings. And for city air taxis, concepts with 2 or more seats will probably make more sense in our opinion. But it is certainly an interesting company and an interesting concept, which we will of course keep an eye on.
So what do you say to Elon's Twitter rampage? Can you also relate to him? Probably he's now also feeling the mental effects of the lockdown.
I certainly do. Or has he gone completely mad? Like me?
So be sure to tell us your opinion in the comment section.
So you just watched the JS Disruption Report, where we tell you our honest opinions about the most recent development of disruptive technologies.
So thanks for watching, and I'd say on to the future.
Or has he gone completely mad? Like me?
It is not funny.